Good people, good people, good people. Let me see something. I want to make sure I get this. It is me, a goddess of light, Rashira. Love, peace, and blessings to you. You know, I was sitting here watching the news, right? Talking about biohazards in China. And it occurred to me that it seems like the government focused once again on the physical. And the first thing I'm thinking is, why are they always messing with China? Why are they always messing with these different places? And I know up under the surface, and there's a reason for everything, right? So I'm thinking, why are they always focused on this? For civilization after civilization, the world has been destroyed in a war that has been physical, right? Even we're talking about the Nazis, we're talking about World War One, World War Two, World War Three. It's been a physical war. But the spiritual war that they've been talking about for years, you know, it's taking effect right now, but I don't think that they're addressing it. And the fact that they're not addressing it gives these people space and opportunities, these demonic spirits, these gods that are being demoted down to peasantry. You know, it's giving them room to flourish. It's giving them room to steal, kill, and destroy, right? So I encourage, of course, you know, they watch everything. I encourage the government to focus more on the spiritual. Look at who we are as gods and goddesses. Because at the end of the day, the problem up underneath the surface is a spiritual problem, right? It's way more than physical. And I feel like that the adversary, the person or the people that do not want world peace, their focus will be on the spiritual, because they know that the masses and the government are not going to focus on on the spiritual war. They're going to focus on the physical war. Me being a goddess, I've been brought up to and molded to look at both physical and spiritual. So me looking at the spiritual, I see, you know, the chaos of the world, right? And the chaos is behind someone, okay? On a spiritual aspect and on a physical aspect. Physical aspect, they're preparing, you know, the war has been forever on a physical plane, but it's more on a spiritual. And again, I say the strategy of the adversary has been for years, for centuries, is to focus on the physical and not the spiritual, which gives any demonic entity ammo to destroy this planet on a spiritual aspect, because they assume that we're not focused on that. But thank God we have some goddesses and princesses and queens and kings that's been raised up to understand the spiritual as well as the physical, right? But I just thought I would say that because I was watching, you know, getting into the political news and seeing what they're focused on right now, and to see that they're focused on more of a physical war, and even looking at where they're going, you know. I've said in one of my videos, this is a war between the reptilians and the lions. So looking at that, if China, if the Chinese are reptilians, and I'm only saying that because, don't get me wrong, I am a Bush as well as a Jackson and a Young. So I'm not singling anybody out. I'm just trying to understand what is the problem, the surface. You know, it's painted one way, but under the surface, it's something else. So what is it? I'm just trying to figure it out. You know, whatever I can do as a light worker, as a healer, as a goddess, trying to see what it is, you know, that is up under the surface and can it be fixed. You know, and that's just it. So the only reason why I really made this video right now, because it just occurred to me that this problem, spiritual and physical, is way deeper than the human eye can see or want to look. You know, some of us don't want to look any further, but if you're gonna understand the spiritual war, you have to understand the gods and the goddesses that were a part of the problem in our history, right? They've been the part of the problem in our history over and over again, whether they've been reincarnated or they have, um, just came back into this world because they've been summoned or they've been channeled or what have you. Some people get into, that's why I keep making these videos and I say, some people get into these things and they do not know how serious it is. Some people get into these seats of power that they're not supposed to be in and do not realize how serious it is. You have to know both sides, the spiritual and the physical. And I'm speaking to my family, the Lions, because again, I say this is a spiritual war. We already know that. But in order to fight spiritually, we have to know exactly who we are, whose we are, and then we have to know exactly who is who's in charge of things, who was the cause of the problem, civilization after civilization, So I'm just looking at the surrounding problem, and not just what they show us. So love, peace, and blessings. I just wanted to make that video for myself. I can go back and look at it too, and get a clear understanding of this spiritual war versus the physical, and what exactly is it? Where the spiritual is not just church folks. The spiritual is just not going to church and shouting and speaking in tongues. That's not all. The spiritual war is going to our ancestors. It's going back to them because this is nothing new under the sun. So that means it's a reoccurrence of the same thing. But this time it's different. And that's what that's the awareness that needs to be taught and definitely needs to be brought up front. Right? It needs to be brought up front because the masses, they need to know that this time around it's a different type of fight. And because let me explain this. It's a different type of fight because these children, these young men and women, the leaders per se, has dabbed in some things that they didn't really know, has worshipped some gods that maybe they did not understand who they were worshiping. So they're teaching our kids and they're teaching the ones that's supposed to take over next the wrong things, the wrong ones to tap into. And what they don't know is that, the adversarial force and these gods have been sitting back waiting for the opportunity to take control over their minds and use them, right? I was watching Wonder Woman, and to see that this one in particular God, let's just say that, this one in particular being decided that he was going to grant everyone wishes, right? But the people did not know by taking these wishes and him granting these wishes that there was consequences behind those actions. They did not understand that because they did not know the significance of what he was asking, of the wishes of that he would grant, right? So Wonder Woman tapped in and began to tell everybody to renounce their wishes, right? And again, I say, my point is this: those entities, the gods that are against righteousness, they sit back and they wait for the opportunity like that to grant you a wish. But you don't know, as a righteous person, as a person that, because some righteous people don't know. You don't know as a vulnerable individual that taking and telling this person what you would like, allowing them to grant it, is basically going to put you in a place of destruction, owning, he's going to own you, right? So it's very important to educate yourself on the spiritual war, right? On everything that's going on in the spiritual and not just on the surface. Love, peace, and blessings. Let's get deep into it. Let's get deep into it. And I say that because, okay, understand this. We're talking about, think about Babylon, Atlantis, those places that were destroyed. We have people here in this world right now in this time that still tap into those places, that still look into those places, but don't try to change what happened in Atlantis. Let's say, if an individual was to raise Atlantis up, are you going to recreate the same thing, or are you going to make something different? And it seems like they get this knowledge, they start to summon these gods, and they don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize that the gods that they're summoning was the problem the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. So you call on these gods, and by you being a new age God, you should know better, because you should know everything about what we are facing in the spiritual. And if you know, and you know better, you're supposed to do better. But if you're not doing better, Nazia, then that means you're just a part of the problem. Yeah, it's about that time for me to start calling you out, because at the end of the day, you are messing with my frequency. You're messing with my universe, right? So I'm just saying, get your people in control. Know thyself. Know that I'm coming. You know who I am. You know I'm not playing no games, because you're messing up the world. You see? You're not teaching these kids, you're not teaching these young men nothing. You're recruiting them for what? What you're recruiting them for? To destroy them? Because they don't know who they are. And by them not knowing who they are easy to be taken over. Right? They're easy. They can be easily manipulated. They can be a conduit, because you're not telling them everything. You're using them and not giving them the knowledge that they're supposed to have. So then the government don't really know what's going on under the surface with the spiritual, because they're focused on the physical. But I'm just saying, it is me, Rashira, a goddess of light, the daughter of Zion. I love you. I'll see you soon. Talk to you later. Mwah.